turn the world on with her smile? Who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. With each glance and every little movement you show it. Love is all around, no need to waste it. You can have the telling, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all. You're gonna make it after all. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Yay!
Hi, Ro.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Oh my goodness! Look
I got
at
my Mixie. I'm behind the bar tonight. We are not on location together.
We are not. We are trying to,
I want to clear.
I went with the bubbly,
Nice.
a little Lamarca.
I like it. Apropos of New Year's, so
Yes.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you.
We spoke, but we didn't really see each other because
No.
nobody could do anything during,
No, nobody could do anything. It's really
Cheers. Cheer it out.
Cheers.
Got it. Well, actually, you got to go this way. No, yeah, that's okay. We'll get it. It's fine.
So this is just our first show of 2021.
21. Yep.
Very excited. Thought that 2021 was going to be a little better than it is.
Yeah. Is it too early to start hoping for? I can't wait for 2022. Is it too early?
You know what? I don't think it is. I saw a very funny meme on Facebook the other day, and it said, 2020 was the lube for 2021.
That's right.
And it's kind of true. It's kind of true. So here we are. We have some people joining with us. Jonna Renhart, Larry Bea, Peter Storch, our number one fan, Peter. So that's really nice. We have a great guest to kick off our first show of the year. Some laugh.
Funny individual. Like, he's a famous comedian. Like you would think fame. Like that's a famous comedian, right? On Long Island.
Yeah. Not even Long Island. I mean, he's like
like from here. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean,
oh yeah, he's worked with some really fantastic people, and he's opened for some big name celebrities, which is exciting. And
I'm gonna ask him, like, does he get nervous?
What?
Can you hear? I'm gonna ask him if he gets nervous when he's going to open for a bigger act. Like, what's the nerves like?
Right.
Nerve-wracking, but he's a vet. It's not like this is his first day at the rodeo. So
no. He's been doing this, and listen, he talks to me, which is exciting, because who am I?
That's kind of good. Well, you're Pepper for crying out loud.
Pepper, but yeah, I know, but so how was I've missed you. I'm going to say that.
You
I'm going to
too.
say that live. And I don't necessarily like not being there with you because it's always more fun.
I totally dressed down today because you're not here. I was just like, okay, I'm putting on a hat, and that's going to be what it is.
And there it is.
Yeah, I told you, like, my new obsession has been like the Peloton. So when I came home, I hit the bike, man. For whatever reason, I'm just like, I'm in it.
Wow.
And I've done it like days in a row. It's a problem.
Actually, that's very good that you're doing that because I can tell you this honestly, that I have on so much makeup and contour just so you don't see the double chin, because sitting on the couch, there's an imprint of my butt, and I need to get moving because it's bad. It's bad. And Sarah Weber is watching, and I guarantee you I'm going to get a text later like, run tomorrow, and I'm going to be like, yeah, no.
Well, the girls they're walking and running all the time. They did it again today. So they were out there doing their thing.
I haven't been able to get my mojo going.
Well, usually there's resolutions for the year. You know this.
I do.
People make them. So let me ask you, like, so last one of the last times we spoke, I got a nervous text from you that you were going to the hospital because you fell, and then you had your neck brace on again.
I did not. Let me explain the fall to you. Okay. So my boss loves to have these early Tuesday morning meetings at 6:30 in the morning. So it is dark when I'm leaving the house. And it was right before the holidays. So I had a lot of bags that I'm carrying. And it was Spirit Week. So it was Festive Hat Tuesday. So I'm dressed, I'm in boots with a little heel, and I'm wearing a Santa hat because it's Festive Hat Tuesday.
Of course.
I've got a couple of bags, and it's dark out. So I say, let me hold on to the railing.
Right.
It's dark. I hold on to the railing. I take 2 steps down. I tentatively touch the 3rd step. I'm like, I'm good. I take a step. There's one more step. I go flying, hit the ground, boom, neck, whack, whack. Santa hat flies off.
John, the text you sent me was, I fell, I heard a loud crack, and I'm waiting to go into the doctor's office. This is all before 7:30 in the morning.
Yes, I did. I heard a loud crack. I saw actual stars. Thought I broke my neck. I'm like, that's it. I'm paralyzed. I'm stuck out here on the front lawn.
I feel like that you kind of reached out to me that I was your first, like,
well,
hey,
you know,
call the doctor, right? First.
Yeah, like, I don't know. You gotta reach out because you would appreciate the neck brace.
It's always about the comedy.
Oh wow. My boss just logged on. Matt just logged on. He didn't hear what he said about the annoying 6:30 Tuesday meetings.
And the Festive Hat Tuesday, which doesn't even rhyme. You got to come up with a better, something better on Tuesdays.
Well, it is what it is, All right. So we have Judy's Gems. She is raring to go today. And we are going to bring on our guest. Bring
him on. He's too important to wait.
Well, I am going to bring him on, but I do have a clip that I want to share with everybody of his comedy.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He's a comedian. He is the co-founder and teacher of Stand Up University. He has opened for such comedians as Kevin James, Ray Romano, and Bobby Collins, just to name a few. Right? Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
So now I'm doing something new. I have to share my screen. I don't think I've done this before, so bear with me. But I'm going to share my screen. Here's a little bit of Rich Walker, comedian's comedy. Sharing screen. I am sharing a Chrome tab. I am sharing this. And I'm talking through it. Here we go. Ready?
You got to blow it up.
And go.
So, all right, let's address the elephant in the room before I go on. What do you think of this shirt? Not bad, right? Are you ready for this? $6.40 at Kohl's. It was on that sale rack. You know the one you came in to get your fingers in to push the shirts aside? You have to judge the shirts by their sleeves. You can't even see how she made it. It's like paper thin. It actually had 75 yellow and red stickers piled on it. I wanted to see what the original price was, so I picked off every sticker to get down to the bottom. I did. $6.40. Actually, my wife gave me $10 in Kohl's cash for it. So they paid me $3.60 to take this shit out of the store. They're like, get it out of here. 17 people returned that shirt already. But I'm not bringing it back because I don't want to face the old lady in the back of that store. You ever bring crap back to Kohl's? I don't know how they make any money. You know what I'm saying? You bring them back, you throw all the shirts in front of her. She takes them and chucks them into a mountain of clothing behind her. She's like, get another one. Get another one. We're going to sell all this crap for $6.40.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
That is a funny bit.
Oh God, I don't know how to stop sharing. Okay, there we go. I got it. I'm gonna close the tab.
I watched that a little bit, and I watched. You got to bring him on because I want to ask him
All right.
about one thing. Really funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the very funny Rich Walker. Yeah.
Hey!
I'm happy
That
Rich
was
is
a
wearing a
funny
hat.
clip. Who was that?
That was you, Rich Walker.
Where'd you find? I was like 30 pounds ago. Where'd you find that?
Listen, you go on YouTube and you put in Rich Walker, comedian, and it pops up.
Wow.
You do like you're doing a bit somewhere. I think you're on the island of Belmore, and then right after that, you do the chapstick thing.
Yes.
I was legitimately peeing in my pants. That was so.
Oh wow.
It was really,
Yeah,
really.
that's a fun one.
That
That's
one is
fun.
really fun. Like, how did you think of that one? That one is just brilliant. With
You
dog-
didn't even hold on one second. I just want to. Well, forget. I'm not going to get. But I actually give them away. Did you guys get one the night you were there? At the chapstick. I bring it out, and on it says Rich Walker's unusually unused lip balm, and I give them out after the show. And most of the time, I tell people, I don't charge anything, but put $1 or $2 in the box, and I give all the money to St. Jude's Children's Research.
Oh, that's nice.
So, yeah, so it's a win-win kind of thing, but it's just fun. It's just another fun thing, to have. I hate selling stuff after the show, though. It's embarrassing. I need a man to do that. Like when I opened up for Bobby Collins, I asked if he could sell my stuff after.
He did, and he obliged, right? Yes, he did.
He actually sets up like 2 tables full of everything, and he blocks the doorway so nobody could get past him.
Until they buy.
Yeah.
That clip I showed, where was that?
I don't know. I don't even remember that clip.
Really?
It looks like it might have been. What did it say in the background?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't read it. I don't have my glasses.
It looked
on.
like it was a benefit. It looks like it could have been Malloy College.
Oh, okay.
That stage. That was a big benefit. I forgot what it was for. Don't hold me to it. But yeah.
So I have a question for you, Rich.
Yeah.
So I did some research, and admittedly, Chris is much better at the research than I am. So I'm sure he's found some really interesting nuggets about you. But you've been doing comedy since 1994, correct?
Yes.
Was that always the plan?
I always wanted to do comedy my whole life, like you. Did you always want to do comedy your whole life, or an actress?
No. I always, I never.
You got it that time. You got it.
I did.
Did what? What did he say?
I said I always did want to try comedy. I did. So yes.
Yeah. Well, as you know, it's a lot of fun. But I always wanted to do it, and I used to be an insurance adjuster for 18 years. And I slipped on the ice and I broke my ankle. My foot was actually on backwards, but I was home from work for like 3 months, and I had 2 years of corrective surgery on the ankle with steel plate and screws and all that. But if it wasn't for me being home to actually, my friends picked me up and they took me to a comedy show at Eastside Comedy. I don't know if you remember that, on Route 110. And we were that annoying table that was laughing so hard, and the comics on stage weren't doing well that night. And one of my friends goes, "See, you could do that. You could do that." And then my wife, my girlfriend at the time, her mother cut an ad out in the paper that said, "Come down to Long Island Cafe and bring your best 5 minutes." So I was home from work for 3 months writing material. So I went with my guns loaded on my first night.
Wow.
And, I was supposed to do 4 minutes and I did 15. I didn't know what the light meant. And, but then Joe Starr, I don't know if you know Joe Starr, great comedian, comes up to me and he goes, "You're really good. I want you to come back next week, will you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll come back." And he goes, "And bring all your friends and family." That's when I learned about the comedy business.
That's when we learned about the bringer, right?
They could care less about the comedy, but just how many people I was bringing.
Exactly. Well, that's great. And so
but I always did want to do comedy. always. I grew up watching Johnny Carson, and I loved the Friday when he had the comic on every week. Like that was my big night. So
Did
I'm
you
gonna do it.
did you give up your day job?
Can I ask one question, Ro?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So, what? All right. So so 3 months you're writing the comedy, and did you have that in your head beforehand? Like, how did you come up with the bits? Was this stuff you were always kind of working on, and then you were able to just put it down on paper and you tried it?
At my desk, I used to keep a notebook, and anytime I had little funny stories or funny thoughts, I would write them down in the notebook. So when it came down to having a lot of time sitting down on the couch, my leg up in the air,
Right.
I would start to develop it into, punchline form and whatnot. So
So
that's
the first time you got up, so you're up there. Had you done the bit before? Are you practicing?
no.
You
No,
just like
first
I'm going
time.
out there cold.
Cold.
You're really a natural then at this, if because
Yes.
you are. I mean, I would say I have a solid 7 minutes, 8
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, but it's a funny 7 or
You got to
It's a
give
very funny 7 or 8 minutes. Woody Allen said, he used to be a stand-up comedian. That's how he started. But he said if you develop 5 minutes a year of solid proven material, 5 minutes a year, you are right on track. So what I don't like to see is comics that every time I see them, it's all new material because they're not developing a bit. They're not developing, like you said, the chapstick routine or the Coles bit. These are definitive bits that people will yell out. Do Coles. Like if I'm blanking or you can't, they're like, do Coles. They'll know the bit. So you want to have established bits, that you could always have. And that way you also never forget, like you could do an hour easy if you have these bits. But if you're constantly changing your material every week to prove to the other comics that I know how to write, you're not going to, when you're thrown into, a theater show, you see them blank. They're like, okay, it's not good. So develop your routine. Like I'm working on one now. I'm sure Roseanne saw it. I talk about Jesus on biography growing up. Okay. But that took me a year to get the laughs where I wanted them. When I first started that bit, Christians used to go, don't say it, because I used to say things like when Jesus was a kid, him and his brother, he used to have a brother growing up. I don't know if Chris heard the bit, but they said if people knew he had a brother growing up, swearing today would be different. People would be like, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and Wayne. But as a kid, they used to have pillow fights. But back then, pillowcases were like potato sacks filled with sand, and that could hurt a savior. But what do you think that thorn crown on his head is a coincidence? That was to keep his brother from giving him noogies. Ow, daddy, damn it. So, but that's not in the bit anymore because they came up to me and said, say whatever you want. Don't mention the crown. The crown is what he died on the cross, and they drove that into his skull. It's a serious thing. So that went out. So now it's all playful and it's comical, and they did magic as a kid, and Jesus got his first magic set. His mother bought it from Genovese. That's how far back we're going. So now it's silly, and nobody could say, "Oh, don't do that." It's just, even Jesus himself would have liked the bit. So
then let me
I
ask.
forgot the original question.
Well, I'm gonna follow up with that because it's the writing, and I am a very, very new. I don't even know if I'm allowed to call myself a comedian yet, but I'm very new at it, and so I write and I try to, things hit me. Like I wrote a joke that wound up being something I said to Chris after our very last show, and he goes, "That's funny. Write that down." So I wrote it down and I wound up using it. It was funny, but I just tend to think of funny things and I write them down and then I go back to them. How do you come up with what your funny stuff?
It has to, for me, it happens. And when it happens, you have to, the eye of a comedian, you have to catch it. Like, write it down. If you're driving in the car, stop, pull over. Because once you walk in the front door of your house, now you got the dish over here, and it's gone. It's gone. And then like months later, like, what was I thought? It was so good, So you have to stop and write it down. The worst material, as you probably know already, comes when you're falling asleep and you're like, oh, this is good. And you go to write that. And the next morning you're like, this is shit. Like, this is not funny. So during the day when you're coherent, write down your stuff and it comes to you. But everything is real to me. Somebody said, are you writing any pandemic material like with your kids? And I go, no, I haven't written anything. But then right there on the spot, I said, the only thing about, like, they go, your kids in the pandemic? I go, well, my kids haven't been out of bed since the pandemic started. They live in their bed. They're like the grandparents in Willy Wonka.
Uncle Joe.
And Uncle Joe. But so I walked in my daughter's bedroom and she's like, Dad, what do you want? You're so annoying. And I said, relax, I'm only here to change your bedpan. So, but that just came out in a conversation, So if you get gems like that, write it down. And then now if I do something else on a pandemic, it goes with that. If you do anything on my son, I have a whole thing on my son, being the worst in sports, blah, 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 or in school, whatever. And so you put it together and it looks like you're telling a story on your son, but you're not. It's individual jokes that are about him, So, and that's what a lot of comics don't get. They think that I'm going to write a long thing. And, city comics are very different than Long Island comics. A city comic will tell a long story with a big payoff punchline at the end, where Long Island comics have to be topic, premise, punchline, topic, premise, punchline. Like, you'll have to have 4 laughs per minute, which that's why they say, not me per se, but the best Long Islands come out of Long Island, definitely, and Boston are real sharp.
Yeah.
Bill Burr, real sharp.
Yes.
Contenders with Long Island comics.
Well,
hey, Rich, are you thinking of that where you write something down? Are you always trying to find comedy in something, or is it just like Rose said, well, you're a natural at it, it just comes to you? Are you on all the time? Like, oh man, I gotta write that down. Is it distracting from you because your brain is working to find the joke, or do you know it?
No, but somebody once said, one of my students said that, when I was trying to teach them a joke or whatever, they said the problem with me is that I'm moving 700 miles an hour where they're at 70 miles an hour. And what Roseanne will find, Chris, do you do comedy?
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to get you to do it. But what Roseanne, maybe right now, like, it's not that it comes natural. It's just that, like, if I hear a subject, or I think about something I want to joke about, it's going every direction it could possibly go. Right. And then you pick out what you feel is the best. That's why some comics will come up to you and go, try it this way. And you're like, I'm not comfortable that way, But sometimes you try it and you're like, wow, I never knew the payoff on that, to go from, instead of you being the victim, maybe the other person is the victim. It usually works better if you're the victim, because nobody could say you're picking on somebody.
Everybody likes self-effacing now.
Like, Roseanne is the victim in her daughter's act.
Yes.
And it's very funny. That's a way I wouldn't have thought of going with your daughter. Maybe, I would go with your daughter being the victim. Well, she kind of is. She's the victim of her mother.
Of me.
Loving the spotlight.
Yes.
And she's embarrassed.
Right. Yeah.
So again, she's the victim.
Yeah. And I think that I'm definitely the victim in my jokes about my kids, So Yeah, but
Exactly.
so when you teach stand-up university,
Yeah.
which I'm waiting for it to come back, right? Because I want to take a class with you.
Oh, thanks. We all are waiting. It's just, this is a long road,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Actually, I'm just waiting to cash the checks.
All right. Well, I'm going to post-date mine.
Um,
So, but really, in all honesty now, can you teach someone to be a comedian, or do they have to have a modicum of talent and funny?
Great, great question. And that question was asked, it's online, to Jerry Lewis. And Jerry Lewis says, anybody could be taught to be funny, but it's not the funny you're talking about, meaning that it has to be in your bones. And you could see comics, or if you go to the open mic nights, you'll see comics that really aren't funny. You know, it's not in their bones. You have to bleed this, you know, like every time you go on stage, you can't just tell jokes. Like, you know, the great Carl LeBove once said, you have to leave yourself on stage. You have to bleed for them. They have to feel your pain. Stand-up comedy is all pain and angst and what annoys you and what's angry. In the class, we used to tell them to go home the first night and come back with 10 things you love and 10 things you hate. What we found out was that all the things you love are very common and not funny. I love my dog. I love my kids. Blah, 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 you know, I love my job. We want to hear how much you hate your job and why. Or you hate going shopping and why, you know.
And you say that, and see, that's why I said I think my mother would be a great comedian because she hates so many things.
Well, she should try it. I mean, even to do it once in your life, it's fun. Like, we have a lot of students that want to just do it once in their life. We've had students that are CEOs of companies. We've had every class has either a lawyer or a drummer, and we haven't figured out why. But lawyers like taking the class. So if they're in front of a jury, if the jury likes you, they will believe anything. And some of them figured that out. We had one guy who was the chief partner, I don't know what you call it, in the law firm. He owned his own law firm. But he loved the class so much, he wanted everybody in the law firm mandatory that they take the class. And he couldn't get his partners to agree to it. They're like, we're not having our lawyers take a comedy class. But he was trying to explain it's so important that humor, even in a courtroom, it's all song and dance, you know? And even if you go to small claims court, the judge cracks a few jokes, you know. We know we have a successful, arrangement here when neither side is happy and everybody walks out pissed. Now I know I did my job. So they make it funny, you know, and now everyone's at ease. So that's how you got to do it.
The common thread there is people love to laugh. And if you can just find that common thread with somebody who's sitting on a jury, why wouldn't you, as a lawyer, want to get them to believe everything you say? Whether, you know, if you're telling the truth, lighten it up a little bit and people will actually
even if you're not telling the truth, Chris, even if it's just likability, you know, right. Like, I once had jury duty and I had it was the assistant district attorney, Suffolk County. And he was a nice guy. I mean, you just loved him. He was so nice. And the guy that was who was arrested on whatever the charge, we don't even know at that point yet. Right. But his attorney was not likable. He was nasty. And he goes, I want you to the jury. He says, if you really like me, he goes, and he's innocent, and I'm telling you he's guilty, I want you to come back with the verdict that he's innocent. Just because you like me, do not, I understand, because he knew his likability. He was funny, he was nice, and, you know, like if he asked a juror, you know, what do you do for a living? What do you do? He would make fun of it, you know, almost like a host, you know, of a comedy show. So, but he wanted to make it clear that he may not be right, you know. It was just it was interesting. So
Well, I think you bring up an interesting point because some people, their vocation in life lends itself to it. Like an attorney is a performer, a teacher. I used to say to my kids, I do 5 shows a day to a captive audience. And if you want to pass, you better laugh because I make jokes all day. So I think there are definitely professions that lend itself to this genre of performance. But let me ask you, going back,
I got a punchline to that joke.
go ahead. What?
You tell that in your act?
I haven't
I'm a
worked.
teacher, and I tell my students, I said, listen, if you want to pass, you better laugh. And it can't hurt every Friday, one standing ovation. Like, or it can't hurt every Friday, throw in a standing ovation.
Well, Rich, true story. I used to have an applause sign in my classroom. And whenever I would say something funny, I would light it up and I would wait for them to applaud. And then after a while, they got the hint and they would applaud every time I put the sign on. So I definitely, I like that line. Let me ask you a question, though. Back to teaching the funny. So what if you get a student, right?
Yeah.
Who's full of enthusiasm, who is just full of passion, but just lacks the talent. What do you do with that person? Because clearly you don't want to just crush them. How do you handle that?
Well, this is why we want to get Chris in the class. I'm joking.
No, 100%. Brando, you're taking that class with me.
No, you just heard his opening. You just
know
let
what,
him.
Chris, I invite you to sit in the class one night, just in the back of the room, and watch what we do. And you're going to be like, I want to go up. Everybody's itching to go up on that stage in the class because we have so much fun, and it's a very safe environment. He
wants it so bad, but he just won't give me the satisfaction of admitting it.
Not admitting it.
Well, you can inbox me when Roseanne isn't around, and
done.
I'll go. We'll get you in. So, what was the question? Oh, people that aren't funny.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that aren't funny. It's not in there. Can we make them funny for the show, the class show? Yeah.
Yes.
And they're going to have a great 7-minute set. But as soon as they leave our class, their egos are too big and they stray from everything we've taught. Mm-hmm. And I see them. There was one woman who took our class who was she killed in the show. And then she left the class, and I saw her like 6 months later on one of these shows, and she says, "You're not going to like my new material." I'm like, "Well, what is it?" It was filthy. It was so filthy, and they hated her. But she was thinking that people are going so much faster than her if they were dirty. People forget that even comics like Louis C.K., who are very risque, they could do 4 hours squeaky clean. They know how to write their material. But like someone like Louis C.K. is now playing to his audience. You know what I mean? He's playing to the college crowd that wants to hear about whatever he's doing in the bedroom and whatever.
I think it's too easy, though. It's too easy to be dirty and to throw in, like, hey, listen, I'm no saint. I drop an F-bomb in my act.
Yeah, me too.
But it's not constant. And when it's constant, I remember I was at a show. I was doing a show, and my mom came with me, and it was late. It was like 10 o'clock. It was in the city. It was a Broadway comedy. And all the comedians were so filthy. And I knew immediately then I am not the 10 o'clock crowd comedian. Bridget did great. I'm not the 10 o'clock crowd comedian. I'm the old lady, And then they were so filthy that I was actually mortified for my mom. And not that my mom's rude, because she's got a mouth on her like a freaking sailor. But, she's my mother. I was like embarrassed that she had to endure this.
Yeah. Well, let me say one thing on that. And this is what I tell everybody. how much do you want to work? If you want to work as a comedian, you work clean. Because then, like somebody once said about me, a club owner said, he goes, oh, you should have called me before you hired someone for a private party. And he goes, who did you get? And the woman goes, a Rich Walker. And he goes, oh, you can't go wrong with Rich Walker. You can't.
No.
Because I could play. Don't forget, we all going to do backyard parties, and all the children sit all up front because they think you're a magician. They don't understand that you're going to be telling jokes about your life, but they don't get the irony. They don't get what it's like to have to, struggle or, deal with somebody over the phone like your mother with the bank, and so they don't get it. But you could work all the time. Knights of Columbus's, Elks Lodges, all these different things where libraries even. But if you're going to be dirty, you're going to work in a bar. I'm leaving on this. You work in a bar every 2 weeks, and you're going to go 4 years later. How come nobody wants to hire me? Yeah, because you stink. I know. I get you're funny, but your material doesn't warrant you working anywhere. Who's hiring? Who's putting you in the Argyle Theater or the Port Jefferson Theater if you're dirty?
It's funny to say that because my neighbor, Rob Moon, he is an Islip volunteer firefighter, and he goes, hey, this is Rich who runs our company, IFD, every year. Always a great show. Yeah, well, I'll expect to be on that next one, Rich.
Are you in Islip? You're in Islip?
I live right next door to Rob. Yes, I'm in Islip.
All right. Just I don't remember. We haven't done a show in like 2 years now because of this pandemic.
Well, now, Robbie, there better be a show.
Yeah, I hope so. What's his name? Rob Moon?
Rob Moon. Isn't that a great name?
It's a great name for comedy.
That is a great name. So let me ask you, Chris, do you
Hold on 1 second. Rob Moon. Oh, okay. My wife goes, who? Rob Moon? Because she thinks she works with him.
Oh.
She knows a Rob Bloom, she said.
Rob Bloom. No, this is Rob Moon.
Yeah.
Chris, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was monopolizing again.
No, that's fine. And just going back to the to the stand-up university. Can you? This is a weird question. Can you make somebody funny if they have? Like can you take that joke and they can't come up with it? Like they have a good premise.
Okay. Yes. We always talk that we've been going now 21 years. We have over 1,400 graduates. Wow. And you figure 10 jokes per student, we calculated about 14,000 jokes we wrote. Wow. Now, yes, they could go up in the show, and if they recite the jokes with the inflection we tell them to do it, and the material, they're going to do good. Sometimes they kill. The problem is they're not listening in class when they go on their own. We're telling them the design of the joke. We're telling them what has to go first and what the ending to that joke has to be and what to listen for. Not just our material we wrote or help them write. You have to have like a funny word, right? And it's hard to explain. You want to.
Well, there's a formula.
Let me say one thing. What's funnier, bacon or pork? But it has to fit to that joke. Right. You don't say, I was cooking my kids' breakfast this morning. We had eggs and pork. No, you didn't. Right. It's not real. The word isn't real. Yes, bacon is pork, but it's not real. You have to be real. And there's a lot of comics out there that I see, and I'll be on the side going, nobody uses those words. Nobody says, I was juxtaposing my thoughts this morning. No, you were not.
Teacher.
I was thinking this morning, what am I going to do for the day? Not juxtaposing. So there's work, but they think they have to be smart. Like, they're going to think I'm so brilliant. Right. And there's some comics. The one thing I hate is when they use, I don't even know what you call it, but like a triple word, like the militant midget from Minnesota.
Like alliteration?
What is it?
Alliteration?
maybe alliteration, but it's 3 words, and it's like tongue twistery.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel like if they load it with that kind of shit, it's funny. Like Dennis Leary, I would never thought was funny. Sorry if you love him, but it's just he's a lot of big words that no, I don't buy that you talk like that.
Right.
You know, like another thing, like I was watching on an interview, Mark Maron. Do you know who Mark Maron is?
No.
Big, like a big writer for Conan. He's been in
Yeah.
movies and stuff like that. But he's on Conan O'Brien. He had just interviewed in his garage Obama. He goes on the air. Now, this is a comedian who gets an interview with Obama. Whether you like him or not has nothing to do with it. But he interviews Obama. And he goes on Conan going, I'm broke. I don't have a nickel to my name. Well, I just Googled you're worth $2.4 million. Don't go on national TV and say you're broke. It's not believable. I don't believe it.
Right.
You know? So
Yeah.
be real. And that's the problem in back to your question with comedians. You have to be real. You can't just be doing jokes that they wrote for you in stand-up university. You have to go forward and be real about your life. You know, Roseanne is very real. Her daughter is very real. You could feel everything they feel in their act, right? And what I really like, and I'm not just saying it because I'm on your show.
It's a really nice compliment, though. Thank you.
Well, but Roseanne's act, you know, she's talking about real dating. You know, I'm in the dating world, and I'm divorced or whatever, and I have my daughter. It's real. There's no phoniness, you know, like you can't, and everything you say has to be at least perceivably true. It could happen.
Isn't it true, though, that the funniest stuff is the real stuff that happens to you? I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't talk about things that I haven't experienced because I don't know how to make those funny. I never went through them. You know, like I couldn't make jokes about a successful marriage because I've never had one.
Right.
That's fun.
Out of any of the 4?
Right.
None of them. Failures. Miserable failures.
Maybe it's not your husband's.
Yeah.
Maybe not. No. Could be. I need to be a little introspective. I think.
Right.
Yeah. That's funny.
Well,
Well,
Rick,
listen, you're a star, and you deserve to be treated as a star.
are you?
No, I mean,
What's go? I mean, we know comedy is canceled.
yeah, for a little while.
It's canceled. We know that it's tough to. What have you been doing in the meantime?
Yeah. Well, my wife just yelled from the other room, sleeping.
Sleeping. So, hey, listen. I think it's a testament to your marriage that comedy's been dead and you've been home and you're still married. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, you could ask her about that. You know what it is? She's not happy with the $182 unemployment. She's so selfish.
That's so rude.
But I got to do the Brace Yourself podcast show.
And honestly, this is a big
No.
deal.
That is a check.
Now. But when Chris and I are on, like, you know,
Here we
Prime
go.
TV, he's so negative.
I'm not negative.
Why? What'd you say, Chris?
I'm not negative. She
I-
thinks I'm negative towards the show. She thinks we're going to be on what, bro? Go ahead.
I think we are the next best Kelly and Ryan. I think we're better than Kelly and Ryan.
Can I add to what you're saying here? Because I noticed something during this whole show.
Uh-huh.
And I saw you guys before. I saw you sitting poolside on the show and stuff. But I'm just now, because I'm like intently listening. Your show is very good because you planned your material, what you're going to talk about. You know where you're going. You both, when one talks, the other one zips it. And if you listen to some radio shows, they're all talking on top of each other. And then the guest is sitting there going, I don't even know. I can't even compete here with you two. You know what I'm saying? But you guys, every time I started to talk, you were quiet. I'm not saying I'm the But when you have a guest on a show, you have to understand that. But that is key. Johnny Carson was the king of allowing his guests to shine, because the next day they didn't say, "Did you see Don Rickles on with Johnny Carson last night?" They said, "Did you see Carson last night?" And they go, "Yes, Don Rickles was on." Johnny always let them shine. So, but I'm saying, I'm really, and who am I? But you're doing a great job, because this is a really good show. And I could hear myself think for the first time on a podcast. Now I'm going to be yelled at by everybody else I do a podcast for.
Well, thank you very much. And I
Thank you.
appreciate that. That's very, very nice of you to say. And you are extremely funny. And you need to be doing comedy all the time, because
On TV, right?
on TV. And you know what? But Rich, seriously, it's not only that you're funny, but you're relatable and you're likable. And that's what it is, because people are watching you going, not only are you funny, they can relate to you, and you could be the guy that after the show they see in the bar and they're like, "Hey, dude, hey, how's it going?" You know?
Unfortunately.
And listen, I know I see Judy sitting there in the box. I'm bringing Judy on because
Bring her on.
Get nervous.
Loves you.
She's my biggest fan. There she is.
I don't mean to bring this show down, but I just got word that someone I bowl with died.
Oh.
Oh, no.
You couldn't wait 15 minutes, Judy?
No, I have nothing to talk about otherwise.
Were they on your team?
No.
Oh. Well, now they're going to have to forfeit. You have to think of the good side.
Mom, really?
Judy, by the way.
Yes. You want to see the
It couldn't have been that bastard at the bank.
Right. Judy, coincidentally, I just got a call asking to fill in for somebody on a bowling team versus your team, so I'm in.
See how fun? Now, okay.
It's a win-win.
You see how funny he is, Rich? Do you see how funny Chris is? He is a natural.
I know.
He really is.
Very
and I
witty,
know
Chris.
comedy.
She knows
I love
comedy.
him. I want him. I want him in my roster on my class.
We're going to do it together. Me, him, and Bridget. We're coming.
And Judy.
Can I sit in? I love comedy.
You could come and sit in, yes.
Okay.
You could
Well,
sit
we
up.
may ask your advice.
Huh?
No.
I
said we may ask your advice.
You should, because I know comedy.
Yes,
I
you do.
know who's going to be a good comedian and who's not. I was one of the first to spot David Brenner, and people would go, "Who? What? David Brenner." I was one of the first to like Robert Klein. How about
I
Billy
opened up
Crystal?
for Robert Klein.
But nobody knew these people. Steve Martin, when he put the arrow through his head, nobody knew who I was talking about, but they all know them now, and they all take credit for it.
Yeah. Obviously, you do too.
But I have a right to, because I was first. I was first. So
Listen, Judy, did you ever or Rich, I'll ask this question. So comedy albums, right, before the internet and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Steve Martin, Wild and Crazy Guy, was I think in 1977 or something like that. That was my first comedy album.
Great.
And he had the bunny ears. I just remember playing that over and over and over and over. And that was before other stuff.
Did he do the bit? Did he do the bit? How to get yourself $1 million? Oh,
I don't. Honestly, he might have. I don't remember.
See, you don't remember.
Chris, on that album is a joke that I think is so funny. He goes that when you go skiing, people put their names on their skis.
Yeah.
You remember this joke?
Yeah.
And he goes, they put their names. And now when you go on the chairlift, you ride up with people you don't know. And I want to know them. So I look over at the guy's name on his skis, and I acted like I knew him my whole life. Except he looked at me like I was crazy. His name was Rental. I love Steve Martin.
It's so great. I just remember that album.
And he can transition from comedy to drama.
Yeah.
Make it
Great actor. Great actor. You
And
want to really laugh at Steve Martin? I don't know if you ever saw it. Watch the Pink Panther.
Oh,
And now we all love Peter Sellers, and nobody can do it better than Peter Sellers. I know that. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Did you see it? The Pink Panther.
I don't, you know.
I saw the original.
Okay, you watch Steve Martin.
Yeah.
It is incredibly funny. He is like, I don't know. I kind of even like it better, you know. But he does a thing where they have to teach him to speak American because he's going to be going to America to solve some crime or something. And they get him a vocal coach, and she goes, hamburger. And he goes, hamburger. 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 But like this went on for 5 minutes, but every take was funnier than the next. It was so good.
Rich, one of our viewers, Frank, as you were starting to tell that, he wrote hamburger.
Hamburger. See, it's so funny. It's so Frank knows.
Frank wants to take your class.
All right. What's Frank's last name and phone number?
Frank McCabe, I'll give you his number. He's very funny. Frank is very funny.
Is he a comedian?
He's not,
Oh.
but he's naturally funny. And I think, he said he's always wanted to do it. And I said, so do it.
Well, look up standupuniversity.com. Read about us. Read some of the things people write about us. And when we all take the class, we graduate as a family. So you're never alone. You have the peanut gallery on the right watching you graduate, and then their turn goes up. We're all very supportive of each other. There's no bad time. It's all fun from beginning to end. And Peter Bales usually hosts the show, who's the co-teacher with me and Steve Lazarus. But Peter is
so now let me ask you a question. Schools are in session. So why can't you have stand-up university?
Because the club is having a hard time opening because he is under, I guess, the jurisdiction of a theater.
Where do you do that?
At Brokerage in Belmore.
Oh, okay.
We teach at Brokerage. So, but they can't open. He can't get the liquor license to open up again and blah, blah, blah. But I think that if he was classified as a restaurant, he would have been able to open, but he's not. He's classified as a theater. Club. So he's struggling to get open.
Roseanne, your auditorium's available. Hello?
There are?
I said, Roseanne, your auditorium is available.
What about a library? Huh?
Yeah, but they rent the room every week, and then by the time we're done after 7 weeks, whatever we made on the class is gone. Not that money's important, but I think also the Brokerage and Governor's people wouldn't be too happy. We've been with them for 20-some years,
and they need to
I don't want to be the one to abandon the ship. And they're like, "What the fuck? We struggled for 8 months, and now you're going somewhere else." You know what I mean? So
what happened to your sound? You sound like what happened to your sound? You sound like you're talking into a tin can.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it sounds like you're in a tin can.
I didn't do anything. Let me turn around.
Tinny.
No.
Should I go out and back in again?
Nah. It's because we're coming to the end. We're almost at an hour. We need to wrap it up because Kristen's daughter tells us that our show's too long.
Yeah, my daughter's a tough critic.
Oh, your daughter?
Oh, perfect.
How old is she?
25.
Wow.
So
back in the house, was living in the city. COVID goes down. Got to move her back.
Wow.
So, that's my new
You have
rule.
a lot in your household now?
No, just her. My son's out in college.
Wow.
So, he's out in Arizona State, but he's on the road. He's on the hockey team there, and they're They're traveling around the Big Ten league right now. So
Wow.
Oh yeah, his son is amazing.
Really? I'm gonna look for him. I
As a
love
matter
hockey.
of fact, I texted Chris one night. I'm like, "Hey, can you talk?" And he's like, "Negative. Hockey's on." I was like, "Whoa."
I'm a hockey dad. You know, crazy hockey dad. Bro, we didn't even talk about that.
A negative. How about no? Can't right now. Watching Chris play hockey.
Were you guys Islander fans or Ranger fans in your house?
I'm a Ranger fan.
I don't watch.
You're an Islander fan? Yeah, write that down.
No. I'm neither. I'll go with whatever team sends my kids free tickets for getting 100 in math.
There you go.
Or from the milk one.
Rich, how old are your kids?
15 and 17.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're so young.
Yeah, well, I'm a baby myself, right, Judy?
Yeah, I could know.
I don't know. Rich,
He was a child bride.
wait a minute. I thought Rich and I were like kind of the same age.
No,
No,
Ro, I think you're older.
Shut up, Mom.
Yeah, a lot older than me.
All right, Rich. I don't think a lot. Rich. I think you got a late start, and I was just a young bride.
No, you're very young because I know it because I was a huge fan of Annie, the movie, when I was 3. So that would make. I'm kidding. How about a knuckle sandwich?
Thinking of your old one.
By the way, the best line in the whole movie.
Blow it out your old wazoo.
We lost Ann Ranking this year.
We did. We did. Almost all of the adults from that show, from that movie, are dead.
Really? Not Tim Curry.
Tim Curry's alive. Bernadette Peters is alive. Carol Burnett is alive.
So that's not almost every adult.
Ed Hearn is dead. Albert Finney is dead. Anne Ranking is dead. Jeffrey Holder is dead.
You want to see a great Albert Finney movie? Shoot the Moon with Diane Keaton. Albert Finney.
Yes.
Great. You saw it?
He was doing that movie at the same time he was doing Annie. Towards
Really?
the end of the movie shoot, he was like commuting back and forth to wherever. I think they were shooting that movie in Canada or something.
Oh, really? Was he really bald in that movie? Or
Yeah.
they used?
Yeah.
So how did he do the other part? He had hair in
Well, they have wigs, you know.
it. Did he shave his head for that movie?
Yeah, most
What?
likely.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, all the details you got to go to Judy for, because I was only 12. I don't remember anything.
Right.
He remembers all the.
How many? I have a question for Judy. It's a showbiz question.
Oh, okay. Because, you know, I'm very good at Jeopardy.
Did you ever take a tally or a count of how many times they asked you to leave the set?
No. Listen, I left the set on my own. I left it on my own. I was so bored
That's what
with
you
that
told
movie.
Roseanne. No,
I
I'm
was so
leaving.
bored.
Would you, Judy, can you please leave the set? Oh,
No.
I'm going. I was going.
I was gone.
Anyway.
I was with the transportation guys. They took me to lunch and dinner.
Yeah, she was out and about having the time of her
I
life.
bet. Oh my
Best of
God.
it. It's very boring sitting around a movie, set.
Judy, how did you get Roseanne in this? How did
Oh,
you know? Was there
show.
auditions?
Roseanne got herself in it.
I did.
I used to sing with her when she was little. I'd be at the sink doing dishes, whatever, and we'd be singing "Tie a Yellow Ribbon." Remember, Ro? You know. And it's a long story, but a friend of mine managed to get a tape of her singing to Charles Strauss, who set up an audition. Took her to an audition. It was just her. They said, "Okay, very good. We'll be calling you back." They never called. And my friend kept saying, "Did you call them? Why don't you call them?" And I'm chicken, you know. long story short, I called them. They said, well, we're auditioning now only for the role of Annie. And I was like, yeah, right. I figured you have to have a professional kid, you know, she wasn't. So we go, and as we're going into the stage door, and another mother says to her daughter, Tiffany, say hello to so-and-so, the stage manager. And I looked at her, I went, oh, we could go home now. You know, I really figured it was all right. But she wowed Martin Charnin and the rest of the group. She really did. And that was it. He said, are you ready to, you know, be my new Annie?
So what did they do? They give Roseanne a bucket and a brag, and they make her go down on her
the
knees.
theater. She cleaned the theater. That's what she did. That was her audition.
It's a hard knock life.
No, well, they had her read the scene where she has her locket, where Warbucks gives her a locket, and she has to cry and everything, and she literally cried.
Cried real tears.
Real tears.
So you felt it. Now, did you feel it because you knew you had to feel it, or you were that touched by the scene?
I don't know. I think
it was nerves.
It was a combination of nerves and really wanting it when I got to that point, like really, really wanting it.
He did.
And
he was good.
The tears just.
And you read opposite Albert Finney at that time, or another play?
This was the play.
Oh, the play.
The play.
So
yeah, the movie. There's one quick little thing. She was set up to audition for the role of Pepper. So I took her to the audition in the city. We were on the road still. Took her to the audition, and the casting guy comes out. I forget his name now. He comes out and he goes, "You're here for the role of Pepper," or she said Pepper, and he went, "Oh no, oh no, Mr. Houston only wants to see ugly children." So I looked at her.
She's
and
way
I said,
too pretty for the part.
You're just, great. And then she got it. So I guess she wasn't pretty.
So
no, she was just good. She was just good. She's tough. People on the road, when we were on the road, they would say to me, "Oh no, Roseanne is tough," and I always thought of her as being a girly girl. But everybody saw.
But she must have been like a little old lady, right?
Huh?
Like like an old soul at that age, like a little old lady.
Well, a combination of that. Yeah. And she just, nothing frightened her. She wanted to do something, she would do it. She used to run around the neighborhood in a gold lame bikini with gold flip-flops and a record player and sing for the neighbors.
Wow.
Yeah. Cookies. So this has turned into the Roseanne show instead of the Rich Walker show.
Well, you learned enough about me. You know, I'm not the movie star here.
No, but you're funny.
Judy.
I could spot it. You were very funny that night. Very funny.
Fantastic.
No tongue. That's what I tell them. No tongue.
No fun.
Rich, this has been an absolute amazing.
Was it?
Welcome back into 2021, our first show. I want to thank you so much, so much for being my first, our first guest in 2021.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
And thank you for all the praise, Judy. I appreciate it.
It comes from the heart, and it's all true.
Thank you.
And I look forward to.
I don't patronize.
I look forward to doing many more comedy shows with you because I really enjoy working with you. You are
Chris. Nice meeting you, and thank you for having me on your show. You guys, Roseanne, you're doing a great job. Who needs major motion pictures when you have this podcast?
When you have Brace Yourself, exactly.
Right? You can't drink alcohol on a movie set.
You can't. You can't.
Right?
Chris and I will see you when Stand Up University resumes.
We'll see you. Thanks for having me, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Definitely.
All right, put me back in the box. It's over an hour you're on, so I want to.
It doesn't matter because people are waiting for the gem.
I don't feel it tonight.
Mom, let me explain to you how this works. You have a segment on the show called Judy's Gems. People expect a gem. You have a gem. I know you do because we talked about it.
Well, it's not a gem. It's a gripe I have. I have to vent.
Gem. You bitch about everything.
Oh. Well,
Bro, you started. Bro, you started.
Okay,
no,
so it really tweaks her nuggins that there's a woman in her complex who's got a very, very good parking spot.
Oh, yeah, I know this.
But continues to park in the handicap spot. And then the boyfriend, who technically should be in the visitor parking,
Parked in her
parks
spot.
right behind her for days and weeks on end. And now my mother has a shitty parking spot. My mother got her parking spot moved. And then my mother went back to her old shitty parking spot, which we never discussed because I'm so angry with you for that.
No, they were both shitty. They were both shitty. Really, but my biggest thing is that the boyfriend parks in back of the handicap spot,
Right.
and she leaves her spot open for a visitor, maybe a relative or whatever. So basically, we're all paying rent. We all get one spot. She has 3. And originally, she said she needed that spot for her mother, who I watched them walk with a walker to the boyfriend's car, never even used the car in the handicap spot. And I think the woman died anyway last month. So why is she still parked there? Why is she allowed to still park there?
Bro, this is a valid complaint.
It is. It is. It's not fair. It's very unconsiderate because there are many people around here who are elderly or who have handicap spots, me included. I mean, handicap stickers. And you can't use it because she uses that spot as her own private parking spot. And it's aggravating.
You know those stickers that you put on the window and they're impossible to get off? Like if you ever get, like you're illegally parked. We should do that. Get them made up.
We should do that.
I wish, but it would only come back to bite me in the ass. What I need is other people around here to say, yeah, you know, that's not right.
Have you confronted said tenant and have we started?
Yeah.
No, you know what? Judy's not allowed to confront people because here's what happened a few months ago. Somebody parked in her spot.
Oh.
And she said, she's on the phone with my sister. And I
think we went through this.
Well, we're going through it again because we've got viewers and I'm going through it. So she said, you're in my spot. There was an argument. The next thing my sister hears is a muffled sound.
Oh, yeah.
Because my mother put the phone in her pocketbook and got out of the car. Now, my sister just thinks my mother's been abducted.
Yeah, I want to go home.
Murdered.
Judy's gone.
Judy's gone. Judy she's not allowed to interact with people in a negative way anymore. It's not allowed.
I know. Well, but I don't because I only get told.
Bro, don't you think that sometimes she brings it on like the little incident in CVS?
Excuse me?
I'm asking Roseanne a question. Why is
no? This guy had no business parking in my spot. There were lots of other empty spots. It was the furthest one away from the apartment that he was delivering to.
Mom, you're 100% right. But when you say to somebody right out of the gate, get the out of my spot, that's confrontational.
No, it wasn't right out of the gate.
It was right out of the gate.
No, it wasn't. I said to him, no, when he said to me, boy, I hope I'm not as nasty as you are when I'm old. And he was no young person.
Well,
that was nasty.
That is nasty.
That's right.
You were probably like, move out of my spot.
You know, why is everything my fault?
because
these incidents find me. I don't go looking for them.
Exactly.
It's always, it just, I have a son. Everybody parks in this parking lot. Whose car got hit and cost me money to get fixed? My car. Did I go looking for it?
You didn't.
No.
No.
It's almost like somebody accusing you of cutting the line.
Yeah, that was not right either. He was very nasty.
You
He
see
was.
that everybody's nasty.
There was nobody up. Whatever.
It's fine. Judy, you know what? I feel your pain.
Yep.
Because I remember when I was living in an apartment right across from what is now Denoy Restaurant in Islip. I'd like to give them a plug every now and then. There was an old Victorian house that was many apartments. First of all, I freaking love that apartment. It was great. It was just, there was something about it. But anyway.
It was awful.
It was. But you graduated with the parking spots. You got closer and closer. So the longer I was there, so I finally got the spot right outside the door. And this guy's girlfriend. And Jonna Renhart is watching and she's going OMG because she knows this guy's girlfriend always parked in the spot. And I would leave a nice note. Hi, you're in my spot. Please park in the visitor spot. And I'd come home the next day and she was in my spot. And I got to tell you, it was like, it just gets you. It gets under your skin.
Did you ever see the Seinfeld episode where George is having a Mexican standoff with the guy over the parking spot?
The parallel parking,
yeah. There you go. It is what it is.
100%.
But all your viewers, if any viewers are out there with any idea of what I could do to remedy this situation, text Roseanne.
And then, wait, as a follow-up to that story, so I was so frustrated with this person, and I was always like on the lookout, and somebody pulls in my spot, right? And I don't know why I wasn't parked in it, maybe because somebody was in it already, and I had parked somewhere else, and the spot was empty. Somebody pulled in, and I flung the window open, and I'm yelling, get out of my spot, like I had it. Get out of my spot. And I go tromping downstairs. You need to get out of my spot. And it was a young man who spoke to me and said, I'm lost. But you could tell when he spoke that he was deaf. And I felt like such
he couldn't hear you.
Exactly. He couldn't hear me and I'm screaming at him. And then I come down the stairs and I'm screaming in his face and he's like, I'm lost. I'm deaf. And I'm like,
you were doing sign language, Ro. You out.
Get out. It was terrible. I felt so bad. I wanted to give him a sandwich.
That's what?
It's not going to help the situation, but it made me feel bad. Mom, Jonna said, I really love that apartment. I'm so thankful for that time. I did. I love that apartment.
That house burned down, bro.
It was full of degenerates other than me and Jonna.
And it always smelled like gas.
But that place burnt down. Didn't that guy like that?
Yeah. That guy Marco, who was crazy.
Marco, he would always come in. He had the wig. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he wore the wig. He had the mullet wig on.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was when it was hard shells.
He had children, you know.
Yes, because that used to be hard shells. He had Tourette's too. He would come in and sit at the bar.
He had Tourette's.
Yeah, I remember this guy.
He got custody of his children because his ex-wife threw herself in front of a train. And I came home one day and the kids were sitting on the steps and there was no Marco. And I'm like, you guys want to come upstairs? And they're like, okay. And I'm like, this is probably wrong. And then
it's not a big.
Listen, it was 1990. I couldn't just leave them there.
You built your character, Ro.
It did. They were cute kids. I felt bad for them because that was their dad and he was crazy. But he burnt their house down. So listen, before we go, because this was a rockin' first show back. I'm very excited. This was a great show. Rich was an amazing guest.
So good.
And we have the next two guests booked already coming up very exciting. We have Christina Zurich, who directed a documentary that is getting rave reviews at all the film festivals called The New Abolitionists, about sex trafficking in Cambodia, Southeast Asia.
That's a happy little.
It is. It's
subject.
not happy, but it's
It's a good
wonderful.
story.
It's really amazing. And just as a side note, Christina Zorich's mom is Olympia Dukakis, and so she's an actress. And I met her years ago when we were doing
That's also Michael Dukakis's
Niece.
sister or niece. Yeah.
So I met her years ago when I did a reading for a playwright that we both know, Joanne Tedesco. So that's next week.
That's a lot of name dropping.
What?
That's a lot of name dropping right there.
It's a lot of name dropping. And then the following week, we have another comedian.
Yeah.
I hope Rich isn't mad, but we have another comedian, Brad Upton. And he's been all over the place, and he's worked with people like Johnny Mathis and Dolly Parton, and he's opened for so many people, and he's on Dry Bar Comedy, and he's very funny. I'm getting a thumbs up from Rich, so that's nice. And so we have some good shows coming up, and I'm very excited to be back. I have totally missed our Brace Yourself Thursdays. Thursdays were kind of a bummer when we weren't doing it.
Yeah, it was a few weeks.
Yeah.
Some hockey stuff got in the way.
I get it. I understand.
Holidays have to fall on Thursday this year, the eves. So it's kind of put us at a little bit of a
Chris, hey, family first while we're on Facebook and YouTube, but you know, when we hit the prime time, I don't want to hear your nonsense.
That's also true. I understand. I totally get it.
So, folks, cheers.
Cheers.
It's
So
always.
are we postponing Pepper Gets Peppered?
There's a candle.
Oh, no. We're doing Pepper Gets Peppered.
Well,
Let's go. Should we bring Rich back for Pepper Gets Peppered?
It's a New Year's edition. It's a New Year's.
He's still there. Let's bring him back.
All right, bring him in.
We're bringing him back. Rich, you're back.
All right.
Doing Pepper Gets Peppered.
All right, this is what I asked Roseanne a bunch of trivia, and then
Yeah.
she gets it wrong. But so then you guys can play. So you ready? This is the Pepper Gets Peppered New Year's. What is the most common New Year's resolution? A, make more money. B, be kinder. C, quit smoking. Or D, lose weight.
lose weight.
Lose weight.
Lose weight is correct. And what date do most people give up on that resolution? It's called Quitter's Day. You know it?
Wait, what was the question?
What date do most people give up that resolution?
Time for a second.
The second, I agree.
Yeah.
January 19th.
Oh, really?
Why?
They don't do it. And then, so another interesting fact was that 80% of the people who make resolutions, they're done by the second week of February. Goes to show you.
I believe that.
All right, so
Interesting.
you're going to get this one. In Spain, the tradition at midnight on New Year's Eve is to eat what and how many to bring good luck?
Eat what?
You have to eat something.
In Spain,
Oh,
In Spain, how many?
Clams.
donuts.
And brings good luck?
bananas.
Well, hold on. Is it A, garbanzo beans,
Oh,
B, figs, C, grapes, or D, olives?
Olives.
Olives.
I think it's grapes.
Judy, you are correct.
God,
Thank you.
you should do on Jeopardy. I've said this before.
Grape olives.
Right, grape olives. Paper. Okay, you ready? This performer ended their Las Vegas residency on New Year's Eve 2018 with a performance broadcast live on New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Britney Spears.
Celine Dion.
You see? Rich, do you see how funny he is?
Who is that?
That's
That's
Britney Spears.
Britney. Is she wearing a Brace Yourself mask?
She's got her we're trying to practice social distancing, Ralph. Brittany,
See?
don't worry. It's gonna be okay.
Rich, Chris is obsessed with Britney Spears.
I love Britney Spears. My favorite record is Toxic.
Toxic. It's a favorite. It's a fan favorite. She broke my heart when she left the residence.
What are you doing in the kitchen, Rich?
Yeah, he's moving around and making me dizzy.
I'm making tea. See, like there's the teapot.
What are you, 90 and British?
That's
No.
a girly man
Yeah.
drink.
What are you, the queen?
Only in the very cold months of winter will I have a little tea with honey and lemon
You
because
lift the pinky too?
Oh
I
my
used
God.
what?
Okay, Prince
With the
Philip.
pinky, like a pinky
I
ring.
used to lose my voice a lot, like,
Oh,
and I have like that. So the tea clears my sinuses and whatever.
Tea does not clear sinuses, Rich.
Depends on the. Listen, there's all different kinds. If you go to like David's Tea, there's stuff that cures you of cold and this makes you relax. And this is sleepy time tea. They have everything. They do. I'm telling you.
This is my sleepy time tea right here.
Check that out. Nice.
All right. So this has been an epic return.
Wait, hold on.
wait.
Hold on.
Oh,
Not done yet.
He's not done.
I'm
When
not
does
done.
Pepper get peppered?
oh, this is it. You've been doing Pepper Gets Peppered, Rich.
You're in it.
Oh,
You usually do the Brit.
Who is Old Lang Syne written by?
Guy Lombardo.
No.
Oh, the famous for playing it.
I have no
He was
idea.
the first one to play it on New Year's Eve a lot.
Should all the
We have
quaintances
choices.
be
You're never going to get it. It's a guy named Robert Burns in 1788. Wrote the original poem and turned it into an ancient song, right? So
That's
what does Old Lang Syne mean?
What's what?
What does Old Lang Syne mean? What's the translation?
Old friends are never forgotten.
No.
No.
Old years.
I knew that and now I don't remember.
Oh, I know what it means. 2020 sucked, but 2021 is going to be worse.
Right. 2020 was the lubricant.
Right. It means old time thing. And yes, so you're referencing Roseanne, when Harry met Sally, Sally says it's for old friends.
Oh, somebody is very, very noisy. Oh, it's Judy. I had to mute you, Judy. You got a lot of static. What did it mean, Chris?
Old time's sake. For old time's sake.
All right, old time's sake. Was that the last, or is there one more?
The only one left was, can you sing the verse in its entirety with the chorus? Do you actually know the words to Old Lang Syne?
For all the acquaintance
Should
be
all
forgot,
acquaintance be forgot?
keep your eye on the grand old flag.
That's exactly. I know Roseanne likes this thing.
It's George M. Cohan. Woo.
They call it Ralph.
I should have, you know what? I should have known. My bad. My bad. Should have known you were going to do an Old Lang Syne question. Should have had the lyrics already pulled up.
Have the lyrics out. Actually, I'll read you what they are. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind?
Never brought to mind.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and old Lang Syne?
What?
And old Lang Syne.
And Old Lang Syne.
And then it goes.
And
Oh, Lang Syne, my friend.
My God.
Oh, Lang Syne.
All right, all right.
We'll toast a cup of kindness for something old Lang Syne. All right, say goodnight, Gracie. I gotta go to bed.
Judy,
All right.
you're wonderful as always. Rich,
Say
thanks
goodnight,
for coming
Judy.
along.
Good night.
Thank you.
All right.
Happy
Thank
New
you, guys.
Year.
Happy,
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh, God, Granzo.
I was going to have you sing the old Lang Syne.
For Old Lang Syne. For Old Lang Syne. What's the word?
The next one's tough. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old Lang Syne.
We'll take a cup of kindness yet for Old Lang Syne.
That's it. We did it. That's it.
We did it. Cheers.
Another. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Oh, Britt. Oh. All right. So listen, I'm very excited we're back. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna,
man.
I was a little sad. I
Why?
missed
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks, at least 3 weeks, right?
Yeah. And I really enjoy this. And every day, every week I pray that this isn't going to be the week that Chris Grando quits.
Here we go with this again. Here we go with this. Oh, God.
Every week I pray. I'm like, please don't let this be the week he quits. So good times. We had some new viewers tonight. We had a very old dear friend of mine, Jonna Renhart. She was my first roommate. She was watching tonight. Scott Stolzenberg, who he messaged me on Messenger and asked for a picture. I sent him a picture. Great guy. Very happy that he's watching. Theta is watching. She's not a new viewer. She's watched before on the show. And Frank McCabe, friend of mine from high school, and Michael Fenster and Peter Storch, you know. Yeah. So it's been very nice. Jeff Bosey, another comedian, he's very funny. He was watching. So it was nice. It was nice to be back. I'll be happier when we're back in the wine cellar because
we got to get back to the cellar next week.
That's next week. Week for Christina Zoric.
Yeah, now I got to do research. I'm just happy I don't have to read a book.
Yeah, you.
By the way, I was going to ask you about your resolutions.
Oh, resolution.
We'll talk about that in the beginning next week.
I think we have to because I'm terrible with resolutions. I try. You know, like I want to lose weight. That's always my resolution because I don't want to have to put as much makeup on my neck.
Well, here's the good news. Today's the 7th, so you only have 5 days left, and then you can quit.
Oh, good.
January, you're done. Don't worry about it.
Listen, what's today? The 7th. So I have
it says January 19th, right? So you get 12 days. 12 days.
Yeah, but I have 8 days until I'm 53, and then who gives a crap?
Oh, that's the cutoff. 53. So I'm done.
53 is like whatever.
So I should just stop.
You can just stop at 53. Because who cares?
What are you talking about? I'm 54.
Every day after 53 is a gift.
Oh, geez. Thanks.
Wait, how old are you?
47.
50 what?
I'm not telling you now.
54? You're 54.
Yes, I just told you that.
You old bastard.
That's fucking. I am not taking getting old gracefully.
I don't want to get old. I don't like it. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with this extra skin here.
I don't like gray hair. Like, what's the hair? What gray? Why?
Okay.
What's with this?
Do you want to know what I was doing today before the show?
Dyeing your hair?
No, I was not dyeing it because I can't get an appointment with my hair girl. I was plucking the grays because they grow like.
Yeah, they're not normal hair. They grow sideways this way.
Oh, they're kinky. I was plucking them with my tweezer. Plucking.
I'm going to tell you, I think I've gotten more gray hair because of 2020.
Yeah, well, if you got more for 2020, 2021 is going to freaking, you're going to go.
Buckle up the way things are going.
You're going to go white. Because I know. I can't. Like, if I could put my computer on the ceiling so this was the view that you were looking down and you couldn't see I saw myself on the camera. I went in the bathroom and I put makeup on my neck to try to make it look smoother. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, I could just sit like this and then my name covers my
Yeah. How do I look now? Is this good?
Is this good? How do I look? Am I good?
Hello? Is this on? I tell you all the time I look like crap because I'm exhausted, right? But like my eyes can carry like a 3-day rain because I got like such bags. It's crazy.
All right, so I'm gonna bring the Plexiderm next week.
Oh please, no! I don't want your face to freeze again.
Oh no, we're Plexiderming your eyes, definitely.
Oh
100%.
my! Oh no!
Oh yeah, 100%. Right underneath. Right underneath.
Not happening.
Happening.
Why?
It's happening.
All for the name of show business? Not happening.
It's happening.
Yeah, okay.
It's happening.
Not happening.
I'm bringing it, and it's
The last
happening.
time you walked in with Plexiderm, you were like mortified, and your face is like, oh.
Oh my God. Well,
I'm
I
frozen.
I put it on my whole face. You're not supposed to do that. I didn't know that. I was like this. I was
She was very nervous that night.
like, whatever happened to baby Jane Hudson, you know? or Mommy Dearest.
Yeah.
Oh my, why? Terrible. Well, we have
Hour and a half.
completely exceeded the time limit that Madison said
Yeah.
we should.
Mm.
I don't know why I give Madison so much power.
Yep, she speaks for the young generation.
I guess she does. The young people aren't watching us though, so whatever.
Yes, there are. All 4 of them are.
They are. Bridget watched for like 10 seconds.
Did she?
No.
Has she ever watched? No.
She's watched. They have. They've watched. Because, you know, they need money from me still sometimes. So
Yeah. Well, she's got to get material for her act, too.
Sarah's like, I need money. I'm like, watch yourself. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, sorry.
So, all right, my friend.
All right, peace out.
Peace out.
Love.
And this is like, you know, this is what we do here. Hold on. I got to get to our, you know, this is it. All right.
Do the closeout.
All right. The closing. Goodbye.
All right, well, that's our show for tonight. Good night, everybody.
Good night. See you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're off.
I think we're off.
We do this every week.
You think we know? Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're
off.
definitely off.
We're off, definitely.
You were awesome.
No, I couldn't do it without you.
Oh,
stop.
You're
Come on,
unbelievable.
stop.
You're amazing.
Everybody loves
It's
you.
you. No,
Everybody
it's
loves
you.
you.
It's not me. It's you.
It's
Trust
Rowan, Chris.
me. Oh, listen.
I
want
think
you to
we're
be
still on.
No, we're off. We gotta be off.